We've already talked about any number of different polls for this general election pitting Biden against Trump. Now we have one today, but understand this is a different sort of poll. Okay, generally polls go out there and they talk to people at random to find out who they're likely to support. They provide controls and things like that. The poll we have for today, though, is a comparison of the stance of the same set of people from how they voted for or against Trump back in 2016 to what they plan to do today. This is a panel poll with continuity of people. So let's take a look at some of the change and continuity here. So for Trump voters in 2016, 88% of them still plan to vote for Trump, to give you an idea of how much damage everything he has done over the last few years has done to his base. It's hurt him by a couple points. So that's great. 9% plan to cross over and vote for Biden, and 4% plan to vote for some other candidate. So a very small change for those. Now, for the Clinton voters, 92% plan to vote for Biden, 4% are turning to Trump. Madness. And 4% there are like, I'm gonna go for a third party candidate or some other candidate. Now, perhaps most interestingly is what has happened to people who voted for a third party candidate back in 2016. Now, really fast, let's jump out of this graphic for 1 second, because I wanna make something very clear before we break down these numbers. When we talk about these third party 2016 voters, who do you immediately think that they are? You immediately think that they're Green Party voters, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not really the case. Though some of them are, yes, but I wanna make clear that we are not just talking about Green Party voters, because one of the weird things coming out of the election is that people's perception of the vote totals is very different. So Jill Stein got 1.07% of the popular vote. That's about 1.5 million votes. That's a big chunk of votes. Gary Johnson got 3.28% of the vote, 4.5 million votes. So Gary Johnson got more than 3 times as many votes. And the others, these other third party candidates, is about half as big as Jill Stein. So understand that these are Green Party voters, but they are also like 80% non-Green Party voters that we're talking about. So just understand that some of these are libertarians or conservatives who didn't like Trump or whatever. So for them, 41% plan to go for Biden, 30% for Trump, 28%, I think that is, plan to still vote for a third party candidate. So they're pretty evenly split, but the advantage goes to Biden there. And a similar sort of split basically for people who didn't vote in 16, either because they weren't old enough to vote at that point, or they just chose not to vote or whatever. About the majority go to Biden. So I know there's a lot of information here. We can leave this graphic up for a bit, but JR, what do you make of this?
Like you said, I mean, pretty straightforward, self-explanatory, but or expected, because I mean the Trump vote being that high still, that's the base. Those are the only people that he thinks matter in the country, because obviously if he can't appeal to anyone else. He can't appeal to independent voters, he can't appeal to new voters, and he definitely can't appeal to generally people who voted for Hillary last time. So it's just there's of that graph, the 25% section of it is all that they really care about, for good reason. But I don't know if it's gonna do much as far as changing anyone's approach, because sometimes if you see a certain way people are voting, maybe it'll change the way you vote. So maybe other third party people or some other new voters or voters who sat out last time, I don't think this is anything that would sway them to change their minds about the way they go. And this specifically for the third party folks, it looks pretty, the same as what you would expect for them to do. It'll be split pretty evenly.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to see. Miss Callie in the chat says the what's a Lepo guy got more votes than Jill Stein. Yeah, but I mean, look, there's always been a significant number of libertarian, reform party, third party like we don't generally talk about that for some reason, but the right always has their third parties that get a significant amount of support. In this particular case, Trump was obviously a very divisive candidate, so some conservatives didn't want to support Trump, but still want to vote for a right winger, so they went for Gary Johnson. That's why Gary Johnson did pretty well. I just think it's weird that nobody remembers that even happened. But in terms of how much third party support you can expect this time around, if this poll is accurate, then it looks like the majority of the third party support is probably going to go once again to one of the two main parties. And I would say, just spitballing it, looks like you'll probably end up with about 2%, give or take 0.5% of the popular vote going to a third party candidate, at least based off of this one poll. Who knows? But that sort of tacks with what I would expect based on the experience of the last few years. This election is going to seem very real to people in a way that for some, about 1 in 20, it seemed very hypothetical in 2016. There's still going to be third-party support. There will always be third-party support, but I do think that this race is going to be a little bit different than others. But to get back to the main takeaways, the idea that Trump has lost only a few percentage points after everything. But then when you really think about it, why would he? He said stupid stuff, but he said stupid stuff during the election. They like the stupid stuff. He said racist stuff. They want more racist stuff. Like, yeah, he's failed on a few things. He didn't totally kill the ACA, although that in the end might actually have ended up hurting him. They think that they want that, but do they really? That's an open question. He got his tax cuts. He doesn't really have the wall, but they think that he has the wall. So Puerto Rico was devastated. They think good. I want it to be devastated. He brought us to the brink of war with Iran. They want war with Iran, and they don't think that coronavirus is real. So why would this have hurt him? Any of this, and by this I mean the last few years.
Yeah, it's worked for him almost because he's answering the call of what they were hoping to see happen, which I'm not sure if they could have planned any of this insanity, but no matter what it is, it's the cult version of the support. It's no matter what he does, no matter what he says, no matter how much he's exposed himself as a fraud, they'll continue to be on board just because now what they can't do is undo their decision, because the hardest thing for Americans to do is to say, oh, my bad, I was wrong. Definitely bad.
Well, that's why you pointed out that Colin Powell is like one of the few politicians that actually admitted that what he did was wrong.
Yeah.
No, nobody does that. Nobody. We had a presidential primary where you had Bernie Sanders, who was totally against the war in Iraq, and then you had some candidates who were very supportive of it that never had to even acknowledge that that was a massive mistake. Like these huge, as consequential a mistake as you could make, you just get to make in politics and media. Nothing ever hurts you.
If you change your mind in politics, you are a flip-flopper, you're a dino, you're a rhino.
Yeah.
And those are apparently things you cannot be, or else you should be run out of the country.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.